Good morning, world, from me and Cheetah and I. For anyone that doesn't know, she's new to the farm a few weeks ago and I've nicknamed her the Maniac. She has got Malinois or German Shepherd or something in her. She is insanely full of energy and just runs around like a complete lunatic all day. But she is already learning fast, very fast, manners and patience, and yeah, things are much better than they were already. So anyway, I wanted to speak to you about histamine today because I see so many posts at the moment about how to fix your hay fever and seasonal allergies and things like this. And you know, when we focus on just that part, we are missing a trick. We are missing our body speaking to us again and addressing a root cause. So if you are someone that suffers from hay fever, seasonal allergies, intense reactions to stings and bites, mosquito bites, things like that, intense reactions to food and various other things. Yes, all this is going to be made worse by a dysregulated nervous system and a completely overstimulated nervous system. But there are other reasons for it, and there is always a histamine issue. So with any of those kind of things going on, there's always a histamine issue behind it. But then there is something behind the histamine issue. So instead of focusing on how to reduce the hay fever or the allergy itself, because that's only actually going to help that bit and for a little while, is to see what's behind it. And yeah, in the interim, there are lots of lovely things you can do, like have local honey and nettles and loads of different herbs and supplements and various other things. But that, like I say, is only going to fix or help such a small part of what is going on. So as I said, if you have those things going on, you've definitely got a histamine issue going on. So it's looking into that. And everybody who has a histamine issue going on has it for a different reason, unfortunately. So it's looking at what your reason is, why your body is either producing too much histamine or not producing enough DAO to deal with the histamine, or both, and what we can do about that. So in the interim, again, there are things that we can do to help reduce the histamine response within the body, and that can be things like eating beef liver and kidney at least a couple of times a week, just a tiny amount. That can be things like taking DAO supplements, that can be supporting liver and kidneys, taking homeopathic remedies. I have a blog which lists all these and lots more, which I will link below this video. So there are loads of things you can do to reduce a histamine response in the body, and a big part of that is food as well. So if you're having foods that are high in histamine, that is going to increase this histamine response that you have. So increase the hay fever, increase the allergies, increase other things like itching, sweating, flushing, nasal issues, sinus issues, swollen glands, throat, scratchy throat, digestive problems, fatigue, problems sleeping, brain fog. There is a ton of ways in which our bodies show us that they're not happy about the level of histamine going on in our body. and it can be different for you throughout the seasons. It can be different for each person. But if you have any of those things going on, if you feel like you've got a cold a lot, or hay fever or things like that, then it's definitely something to do something about. So like I say, there are supplements and things that help, but they're not addressing the root cause again. So all these things are great, and reducing the high histamine foods, which I forgot to list then because I went off on a tangent. So the high histamine foods are anything old and aged. So that's my beloved fermented foods. That is dried meats and fish, old cheeses, the fruits and vegetables that are not locally and seasonally sourced, because they will be old and picked way before they were ripe and hang around a long time. Anything canned fish, canned meat, avocados usually always, because they're picked so far ahead unless they're local and seasonal to you. And then a lot of vegetables like tomatoes and mushrooms and things like that as well. Again, there's a more precise list on the blog. So, and now the cat's come to visit, and the dog wants to visit too. Oi! So yeah, basically cutting those things out and adding in some of the supplements and foods and things that I've mentioned is very helpful. But again, it's not addressing the root cause. So usually the root cause of a histamine issue, and this, you can have multiple of these or just one, but often the root cause is things like a gene mutation like MTHFR, or mast cell activation syndrome, or other gene mutations, but also it can be prolonged stress, prolonged digestive problems. It can be toxic levels of things like cosmetics and cleaning products and various other things like that in your system. It can be any kind of digestive bacteria, H. pylori, SIBO, any of these kind of pretty intense digestive issues. And there's probably loads of other things that I've forgotten, but again, they're in my blog below. So there are reasons why you have a histamine response, and then the histamine this over responsive histamine reaction, or not having enough DAO to deal with it, is then causing your hay fever, your seasonal allergies, your intolerance to certain things. So as I've said a few times, if you have those things going on, then look into the histamine thing, but know that there is an underlying cause for the histamine issue too. And if you address that, you help the histamine thing, which helps the hay fever and the seasonal allergies and things like that. But it also helps your overall health, because this will be affecting whatever this imbalance is, irregularity, whatever it is that's going on for you that's fueling it all, will be affecting so many other aspects of your health too. So again, this is a way that the body is trying to speak to us. The body is saying, this is something out of balance, deal with me, deal with it, get to the root cause, and not just think that, oh, I've always had hay fever, so I'm always going to have hay fever. That's not true. That means you've always had a histamine issue, which is driving a lot of other health issues then. But there's always a way that you can help that histamine issue, even if it is due to a gene mutation. I have those gene mutations as well, and I have managed to deal with histamine issues and various other things that they make you more susceptible to, because you use it as a means to correct your lifestyle, your food choices, your environment choices, your light choices, all sorts of other things, so that your body can be in homeostasis and thrive still, despite any kind of gene mutation that there may be. So if you have any questions about that, let me know. I know that's a lot maybe to take in, but as I say, it's all in a blog below as well. So take care, speak to you soon, ciao.